Yes, I'm live. Grateful Day. Welcome to the 75th episode of the Faith Forward Fearlessly podcast with your host, Jenée Hudson, the Uplifter. I empower professional entrepreneurs who feel disqualified to overcome toxic environments and self-doubt, to take decisive action, to lead boldly in their identity with courage and integrity, to persevere, all anchored in faith. Yes, so happy for you all to join me today. Time for the shirt. Okay, so today's shirt pretty much says stronger than the storm. So today, this actual shirt is a reminder that we have all been diagnosed, which is a past participle of being identified in the nature of an illness or other problems, right? So it's by examination of those actual symptoms. However, being delivered is such a blessing like never before, which puts us right into today's episode called Diagnosed and Delivered: How Health Crisis Rescued My Business and Rewired My Hustle, with special guest Jess Wilson. So today's episode is about what happens when your body says stop, but your purpose keeps whispering, keep going, a little slower, but keep going, right? But first, you guys, before we get into all of that, let me share some eye-opening statistics, as I like to do. So according to the Forbes of the year of 2024, over 44% of women founders say health challenges impact their business at some point in their life. Also, a study from the CDC states that chronic illness affects 6 in 10 adults in the U.S., but many entrepreneurs, they simply just don't disclose the health diagnosis due to fear of losing clients or their actual momentum. And lastly, the Startup Snapshot report from the year 2023 showed that 72% of entrepreneurs report that health issues, mental or physical, directly affect their actual productivity, their creativity, and their decision making. Yet only 31% prioritize their well-being in their business strategy. So that is not a good thing, you guys, right? All right. Well, with all that said, I am so excited to inform you of today's special guest, as she is someone who has a story that is just so very powerful, but it's very purposeful as well. So today, you guys, I am so honored to introduce our esteemed guest, Jess Wilson, you guys. However, before I get to that, let me just tell you just a little bit about Jess, all right? So Jess is a remote branding and headshot photographer with over 20 years of experience. That's phenomenal, right? Helping solopreneurs save time and money while capturing professional images that elevate their actual brands, all from the comfort of their own space. That is fantastic. So as a mom, a grandmother, a fantastic wife, and a thyroid cancer survivor, Jess brings a unique, compassionate perspective to her work, to making those photo sessions not only professional, but also fun and stress-free, you guys. Her journey is one of resilience, creativity, and total heart, you guys. I am so excited to introduce her. Please join me in welcoming our guest, Jess Wilson. All right, let me bring her in. Let's go. Yes,
Oh,
hi, Jess.
hi, how are you today?
I am well. Thank you for joining me on my podcast.
Thank you for having
Yes,
me.
so excited.
It's a
All
pleasure.
right. So, welcome, Jess. Please expand on yourself of how people can contact you first off.
Okay, yeah, sure. So I'm across all of the platforms under J Wilson Pix. That's Pix. The easiest way, though, I would say is to just visit my website, which is www.jwilsonpix, so JWILSONPIX.com. And then I have all of my social media platforms linked from there, and you can pick the one that you like to hang out on the most
Yeah,
and connect with me there.
that is fabulous. Okay, and is there anything that I told your story for the most part. Is there anything you want to expand on? Feel free to do so. If
Oh,
so,
I think you did a great job. Thank you for that. I did get a giggle when you called me a fantastic wife. I was like, I don't think I've ever been called a fantastic wife before. Woohoo!
fuck that husband. No.
I know. I was like, did I put that in my bio blurb or did I put fire wife? I can't remember. Well, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yes,
Thank you.
it's fire. You're all that, okay?
Well, when I say fire wife, it's because my husband is a firefighter. He works for the
Oh,
Forest Service, so he's a wildland firefighter. So,
well, ladies and gentlemen, she is a fire wife and that.
so
Okay,
that's what that means.
yes, love that. All right. Well, today to guide our discussion, I like to give giftful like information and things. So we're going to give some giftful questions and answers today that I am so eager to continue exploring with you as our esteemed guest. Okay, so if you're ready to get started, let's do it.
I am. Let's do it. I'm gonna
All
find my
right.
filter and put my filter on here because I like my filter.
Oh, all right. You ready?
I am. Let's go.
Okay. So there are five gifts. So gift number one. So looking back in regards to your like health scare,
Mhm.
right? Where there were warning signs in your business that like mirrored, I'm sure, what was happening in your body. So what were some of those? What was that like?
There actually, for my situation, there wasn't.
Oh.
Actually, so my family is from Arizona, and we moved from Arizona to Utah about 8.5 years ago now, and excuse me, when we made that move, my family went through a lot of changes, a lot of traumatic experiences and such, like all in like, you know, like a domino effect kind of thing. My son and his girlfriend had a baby before they graduated from high school,
Wow.
and then they graduated, and then after they graduated, it was like then my other daughter graduated, which those things were not traumatic, but just very busy. And then my ex-husband, which was my children's father, died unexpectedly, and my son found him. And so then we went through all of that, and then I went and got my son and his girlfriend and their new baby and brought them to come and live with us because my girls lived with me and my son lived 4 hours away and was living with his dad. And so we went and got them, brought them all to come and live with us. And then like 2, 3 weeks after that, then we all moved out to Utah. So there was like lots of stuff happening for our family during that time frame. So when we moved out to Utah, my business had slowed down tremendously, but that was because I had made a move out of state. I had never marketed out of state. I have never considered moving out of state, so I didn't really push my business in my marketing and advertising that way. We knew that we were going to be making this move to Utah because it was for my husband's job. And so I had been proactive in finding local like community groups and networking groups and other photographers that were local to out here in Utah to connect with and try to start growing those connections and relationships with. So I had been doing that, but that was about the extent of it. So when we initially moved out here, business was slow because I had to rebuild from the ground up, but it had nothing to do with my health stuff. It was just because we moved to a different state kind of thing. And then I want to say the first year I focused on rebuilding. And then the second year, because it was so slow and I was starting to have like issues with how I was feeling in my health, I was like, you know, I'm going to take a year off and just kind of focus on doing personal projects, focus on dealing like with the grief and helping my kids deal with their grief and getting through all of that kind of stuff, figure out what I want to do, how, like what I want to niche down to kind of deal. Because where we lived out in Arizona, I did a little bit of everything. I did what I called life photography. So I did weddings. I did event photography for small businesses. I did product photography for the small businesses in town. We came from a small town where, like, you know, my friends or people I knew from high school that I went to school with, like our kids all hung out together, that kind of thing. So I was doing weddings and seniors and families and birth sessions and all of those things. And my oldest daughter was running as my second shooter. So for what that means is that she might go and do a senior photo session for me while I'm doing a wedding session on the same day kind of deal. And so when we moved to Utah, I was like, okay, it's a completely different dynamic, completely different culture. And I don't want to do weddings anymore. It's kind of the conclusion that I came to, excuse me, because the weddings out here, they're very religious weddings. They get married in the temple. You know, I like doing the whole like, okay, we have like maybe 500 people. There's a keg. It's, you know, a little Western setup thing, people's backyards, that kind of stuff. Like it's nothing super fancy, super formal, kind of beautiful weddings, not talking them down at all in any way, shape or form, but they're not as religious and specific because of the religion aspect of it. So I took that year off to kind of figure out what I wanted to do and where I wanted to put my focus, and decided that I was going to focus on the branding and the headshot stuff for small businesses because I saw a lack of that in a lot of the businesses that I was seeing on the community networking groups and stuff that I joined out here, where everybody was using the same stock images. And as a photographer, that's really like I can spot a stock image from a mile away, right? And so I was like, okay, that's something that's definitely needed and I can fulfill that need. So I'll focus on that. So then I made that decision and started to rebuild going from there. And then that's when I started to have health issues, which then led into like a 6-7 year journey, multiple doctors trying to get answers, getting an answer, but they weren't 100%. So arguing with them about the answer and getting all the way through to it kind of thing. So I know that was a long answer and probably a different answer than what you were expecting.
Oh, look, this is your story. We're learning from you.
Right.
Well, I do want to commend you even for answering that first question with such ease, for one. I probably would have been boohooing with all the stuff going on. You know, that
I've had lots of boohoo time.
But you know, I commend you, Jess, because the fact that who knew that life was going to happen and you're going to have all that, you know, just the things going on even before your health even eventually kicked in, and then you had the move. So, wow, that's a lot of a person. You know what I mean? All at once. Because trust, I do understand. I have 3 deaths in my family that happened back unexpectedly. Life happened and it happened again, you know?
Yeah.
So
Well, and when I first started, thank you. And when I first started getting like having things where I was like, I don't feel like that's quite right, what's going on with my body right now. I actually, at first, initially put it off to stuffing my feelings and not dealing with the emotions of all of that stuff happening. Because, when you don't take time to deal and like sit in it and go through it and then start healing from it, kind of thing, it really has a huge effect physically on your body if you're not handling those emotions and dealing with those things that life throws at you. So I initially put it all to that and
Yeah.
was like, I obviously need to do some stuff.
Only imagine what it even did with your mental, right? So
Right.
again, I commend you, let me tell you.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
all right, so let's get on to gift number two.
Okay.
So gift number two question is, and you kind of spoke a little bit, but how did you redefine productivity and success after being forced to kind of to slow down when you started going through emotions of your body and was going through what it was going through?
Right, right. Great question. I had to think about this because my view of what success and stuff looks like for me, that did not change because of my illness journey.
Okay.
Um, and this kind of goes into some of the other questions, but for me, that has always been about like I'm not looking to go viral. I'm not looking to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like if I could do that and have the same workload, fantastic. But like, people need to realize great responsibility comes with great work, right? Like there's a lot of work that goes into having those kinds of things. And those are not everything that I was shooting for. I was shooting for like, the family that hadn't had pictures done in 10 years and they just lost their great aunt and realized how important it was to have pictures of their older generation family members with the newer generation family members. And like, for me, it's if I can make a difference, whether that's through my photography, through just like my helping and coaching and supporting stuff that I offer. If I can make a difference in one person's day,
Yeah.
in their life, change their thought process on all of that stuff, then that's success to me, kind of thing. So that never really changed throughout my health journey. Other stuff did,
Mm-hmm.
boundaries,
Right.
things like that, but not what my personal opinion of success for me and my business looks like.
That is wonderful. That the fact that that's the rewarding part for you is
Yeah,
such a blessing to even have that mentality, to be honest.
yeah,
So I love that.
yeah.
I,
Well, and I always imagine it would probably be a little bit more hustle based, right? If I wasn't married with a husband that has a job as well.
right.
And I
And
understand that. That is a huge blessing. My business is not the business that pays all of the bills, right?
yeah.
So it's nice to contribute to paying the bills. It's nice to have my own money. It's nice to put food on the table, kind of thing. But ultimately, if I am lacking 1 month, my husband is there to pick up the slack. Not everybody is able to
Right.
have that blessing and benefit. So
Yeah.
I think if I didn't have that benefit and blessing, I probably would be a little bit more hustly about it and be like, yeah, I want to make a difference, but also I want to make some bank.
Right. I trust. Yeah. All right. Okay. So question number or gift number three is, what systems or like boundaries did you have to like implement to protect like your health? I know we talked about boundaries, so
Yeah.
um, and your business post diagnosis.
Yeah. So, like I said, for the answer to the previous question, my boundaries definitely shifted after I got my diagnosis and then after I had my surgery. So I received the diagnosis that I had thyroid cancer. And they weren't, it was inconclusive.
Mhm.
And it was their best guess that it was positive for thyroid cancer. So I spent 3 years fighting that. I had goiters that were growing on the sides of my thyroid. So I spent 3 years I think it was about 3 years. I got one shrunk down to the tip of a ballpoint pen, but the one on the other side had gotten so large that they were starting to worry about it affecting me being able to like eat and drink and talk and all that kind of stuff. And so I had agreed with my family that I would have the surgery if it got too big.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'd had more time and I'd been able to get that shrunk, I would not have had to have the surgery. But I did. I had the surgery, got that all done. And I like to tease and say that my give an F button broke after having a cancer diagnosis and then having 3 years of going on a super intense self-healing journey, and then having the surgery stuff. And I'm very much pray about it, whether you pray to God, source,
Right.
whatever your higher energy, higher belief, higher calling it is. Like, don't be afraid to ask, is this for me? Is this supplement right for me? Is this medication right for me? Is this surgery right for me? Is this doctor right for me? Right? And then doing your own research and being your own advocate. And I could go off on a whole tangent for all of that. But I really had to focus on, like, when I say that my give an F button got broke, what that meant is that I was no longer interested in being a people pleaser.
Right.
I had had such a serious experience happen that could have taken me from my children and my grandchildren and my spouse. And it was like, okay, this is like a new thought process, a new way of thinking about how I'm going to do my life, right? Because I love to give, and I love to help, and I love to support. But I've also been in that space many times, like I know many other people have as well, that when it comes to being my time to be loved, my time to be supported, my time to be helped, my time to be hyped up, it's crickets. So I had to take serious inventory of how I was helping and what I was doing and who I was doing that for, and establishing boundaries. So like I love to do community service in the aspect of giving away photo shoots to people in the community that need pictures for their family or need pictures for their business because they're just starting and they don't have a budget, they don't have money. Right. Limiting how much help that I would give. So I'm still doing it. I'm still doing those things, but I had to be really serious about, okay, this is the line where it goes into overextending myself, overextending my energy, taking up family time, causing me to, put my health on the back burner so that I can do this. And so that was the biggest thing for me, is realizing where I was people pleasing, setting boundaries, still giving the love and the help and the hype and doing all of the things that I wanted to do, but understanding that I had a, like, here's my hard stop kind of thing for being able to do those things. So as it is now, the way I do my business, and I've always had really good back end systems because I've always been about working smarter, not harder. So anything in my business that I can automate for, like, booking, for the planning and all of that kind of stuff, I have automated. So that none of that really changed. But yeah, that was probably the biggest thing for me. So I have it now. I work, and my clients, when I work with my clients, are first and foremost. They're the most important. But everything else is scheduled to where it's my health first, my family second, and then my business after that, kind of thing. And that was probably the biggest takeaway, is that I had to get really serious about my boundaries of what I was willing to put out there without having my cup filled back up.
Yes, it's so good. So many entrepreneurs and just people in general need to hear that. I often say, if you aren't taking care of yourself, then who else? You can't take care of anyone else, because Lord forbid something happens unexpected, like what happened to you and things like that. What do you do? Like, you know what I mean? So you can't help someone else if you're down. So you've got yourself going. And it's necessary to have those boundaries. I started my boundaries last year from family, friends,
Mhm.
associates, business partners. Like, I just had to. You know what? I just had to say, you know what? I choose me.
Yeah.
Because in the end, that's what it comes down to. I can't help, I can't service no one else without that.
Yes,
So
thank you. Oh
very,
yeah. Yeah,
I
no, I agree. Well, and unfortunately, sometimes it does take a big event like getting a diagnosis of cancer or
but
something else, right? For people to be like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, you know?
but you shouldn't
And
have to come to that to
right.
have already helping you before that. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes,
That
exactly.
thing of
Exactly.
servicing. You're
Yes.
not you're not helping people to receive back. You're helping
Yeah.
because, and maybe you can,
Yeah.
out of the kindness of your heart, or because that's just who you
Yeah.
are and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It shouldn't have to come to, oh my goodness, something's happening with Jess or Jenée, so now I'm going to try to help. No, be
Right.
yourself and be genuine from
Right.
the start. You know?
Right. Yep, yep. Well, and I would say too, just like if you're watching live here with us, thank you. Hi, welcome. Nice to meet you. And if you come back and you're catching the replay kind of thing, consider this your permission to to tell that favorite client that you've worked with for the last 5 years because they love you and you love them and they keep coming back, that your weekends are your
Yeah.
weekends and that your business hours stop at 6 o'clock your time zone.
Mm.
And if they really love you and love the work that you provide for them and that you do for them, they will respect that.
Yes.
And if they don't, then you know that you need to establish some stronger boundaries
That's
there,
right.
kind of thing. Because it's really easy to get caught up in being yes, 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 I
Mm.
can, I can, I can. And
And
we don't want people to be mad. We don't want people to not like us. We don't want people to not want to come back and work with us. And I'm here to tell you, after 20 plus years of doing my photography business, if they love you and they love the work that you do, they are not going to bat an eye about the fact that if they text you at 5 o'clock, you're not going to respond until 8 a.m. the next day,
thank
kind
you.
of thing. So
Yeah.
consider this your permission.
There are even those I have, people who are on here who are even in still 9 to 5s and things
Yeah,
like that. That
yeah,
goes the same with your 9 to 5, your
yeah,
employee. I know
yeah.
you're doing all the things, but there's a cutoff.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
because unfortunately they will take advantage. Again, I was on the executive staff level in HR, so
Right,
20
right.
years. So
Yeah.
trust.
And it only takes like 5 minutes of scrolling on threads for you to hear of all of the people who have gone over and above for their employers at their 9 to 5,
Yes.
only to be totally like, your mom died. I'm sorry. No, you can't have time off. You should have put that in 2 weeks ago. Like, you know, if something happens to you and you have to call out or they will replace you
Yeah.
like that.
They will.
Like the
Unfortunately,
I
I
understand wanting to be a go-getter, but like
yes, I literally had to, because again, I was in HR. I was the
yeah,
one running the business, right?
yeah,
Or their company, this $1 million company. And literally, when we had an employee who passed, like over in Texas, because I'm in Michigan,
yeah,
they were like calling me, like, first of all, Jenée, well, first they called me while I was on my own bereavement of my loved ones who had passed back to back to back. And I wasn't even back yet, but because of the fact that I was the leader,
right.
as
And you
their aunt,
picked up the
like,
phone.
they called, like, we need you to come back.
Yeah,
We know you're mourning, but to come back and then fly over to Texas because the employee passed away. And I'm just like, oh, wow. And
yeah,
then they were at, okay, and yeah, we're going to send flowers, all these things, and we're
right.
going to, have our condolences and things. However, we need to get that position filled. So how soon can you
Yeah,
fill it? And I'm just
yeah,
keeping it real,
yeah, yeah.
real.
Well, and like that's the reality of it, right? Like you are a part of the wheel that grinds to make them their money.
The bottom line.
And like you can be amazing at your job, but you don't need to kill yourself being available
That's
24/7
right.
unless they're paying you for 24/7, you know.
And if
But if they're not,
salary that, but
if they're not, then you know,
you want to be careful because your
yeah,
health comes first. Let me tell you.
Yes. Yep.
So
Exactly. And you don't want to wait until you're burnt out and sick to be like, okay, wait, let me stop and take a look at what I've got going on here. What can I change? What can I do better at? What can I have better, stronger guidelines
yep,
on? Like better boundaries with.
yep.
So
So start
we
with
could go on all day.
look, start with boundaries, people, and choose yourself,
Yeah.
okay? With a smile. All right. We are moving on to gift number 4.
Okay.
So, gift number 4. So, in order to better help other entrepreneurs to understand that as challenges and unfortunate situations arise, right? We
Mm-hmm.
do know this and life happens.
Right.
It's important to simply stay in faith. I am huge with my faith,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, how did your faith guide like you with like logic, medicine, and even like doctors who might have even fell short to your expertise of what it's your body, right?
Right.
So
Right.
your faith play a role for that.
So I thought really long and hard on this question because I was like, I'm not really for sure where to take the answer. Peyton, can you please keep it down? Sorry,
No,
he's playing
my
his
God.
VR over there. Um, I I do not prescribe currently to any one particular specific faith.
No.
I grew up with parents that were rode Harley Davidson motorcycles. We did not go to church. There did
Mm-hmm.
not have a Bible in the house, nothing. When I got married to my first husband, I learned about the Mormon church and I joined that church.
Mm-hmm.
I adored his mother. She was like June Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver. And I was like, I want to be that
Wow.
kind of mom. And so I converted and was baptized into the church.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where I spent the majority of my years
Mm-hmm.
in that kind of a structured faith. Now, before that, even though I did not grow up with a faith, I always had an awareness of God and Jesus and the
Right.
basics of stuff. And I always had like, I don't know how else to explain it other than I always had like this sense of higher self, higher being
Mm-hmm.
that was always with me throughout the many traumatic things that happened in my childhood, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Even though I couldn't put a name on it or a label on it because I didn't have like a specific faith structure to help with a label or a name for it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
When we got divorced, I left the church and I went on a journey of my own. I read about Buddhism. I read about Jehovah's Witnesses. I read about, oh goodness, paganism, like all of the things. There was like 6 different religions that I went through and read about.
Non-denominational. Yep.
Yeah, like all of it. Because I was like, I want to know. I want to know. And the conclusion that I came to is that I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. But my faith and my religion is my own personal relationship with those beings and what I do. There's no like specific, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I was going through this journey, I'm also very much into woo woo. I'm very much into healing with nutrition. I'm very much into healing generational trauma, generational family curses,
Illnesses.
energetically, mentally, physically, like all of the things. For me, when I started this journey, I just went into it with the thought process of like, I have this car and I need the oil changed. And so I need to go through and I need to get my energy lined up. I need to get my childhood trauma and
Mm.
stuff released and healed and lined up as much as possible, right? Because I feel like some of that stuff it just goes with you everywhere. And then I wanted to make sure that I was nutritionally doing things correctly, that I was physically doing things correctly to get all of that. So in every aspect of how I was taken care of, there's this vehicle
Mm-hmm.
that I was doing all of the things that I needed to do. And when it came to decision making, and if y'all want to hear about I talk about being your own advocate when it comes to your health over on my podcast and my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to hear more about that, like let me know, just shoot me a DM and I can send you the link for that stuff. But
Wait, what's your
I,
podcast called?
it's brain fart. It's
It was, but
picture it with Jess, Wilson, and friends. It's on hold. I haven't done any new episodes this year for 2025, so that's why brain spasm.
no problem. No, look,
But it's on Spotify and stuff.
can't,
And then I also have a couple of like clubhouse audio rooms where, but my point is I talk a lot about being like your own advocate, right? Because again, I understand that it's a blessing and not everybody has the access or the blessing to be able to do this, but I was able to go through, like, I went through like 7, 8 doctors. I literally would be like, just so you know, I am doctor shopping. Like, I want to know if you're going to meet me in the middle on helping me heal myself, or if you're just going to brush me off, only listen to half of what I'm telling you about what I'm dealing with, and give me a prescription for a pill that you think is going to make it all better, but it's actually going to give me 10 other side effects that are going to cause other issues,
yes.
kind of thing. And
Hey,
so, yeah, exactly. So I just put all of that into that. Um, and I would just come and, like, prayer for me is me just talking to my Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother,
yeah, and
you know.
we
So
all
it's like,
have our own
yeah,
relationship.
it's like if I would, call up my dad and be like, Dad, do you know what this doctor said to me today? Kind of thing, right?
Us,
And
I
so
have.
I would just take it to him that way
Mm-hmm.
and be like, let me know. What do you think? I could
Yeah.
see the pros and the cons of going with this suggestion that they've made,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not a doctor, so I don't know everything about it, but based off my own research that I'm doing, so this is what's coming to me. So let me know. And then I just give myself some time to just sit on it, kind of thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I make the decision and go. Yeah. And if I had doctors that wouldn't do that with me and wouldn't work with me, I would tell them, okay, it was nice to meet you. And I would move on and find another doctor to go
Well,
and meet
good
with.
for you. Don't none of us need to do that.
Yeah.
I've changed
Yeah.
doctors. If
Yeah.
they're not personal, I'm like,
Yeah.
no. I down to my OB
Yeah.
doctor. Like I felt like, look, you have a wife and you have kids.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to be personal about my person,
Yeah.
then I gotta go because I'm
Right.
not going to be a doctor who or a dentist or none
Yeah.
of the people who
Yeah.
is just about a paycheck or they're not, you know, putting their interest in me, the patient. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah. Well,
I
it is.
peel for a band-aid,
Yeah.
none of that. Let's fix
Yeah.
the issue.
And
So yeah.
especially as women, when I started teaching about being your own advocate and doing a lot of stuff on Clubhouse about this part, um, I was educated on how it's bad for women overall, right? Because they're like, oh, it's normal for women your age. Oh, you're just being sensitive. Oh, you're just being hormonal because it's that time of month. Oh, blah,
Mhm.
blah, 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 blah. But if you are a woman of any
I
color other
know.
than white, it's like 10 times worse,
Yes.
kind of thing. And that's why I say I understand the blessing and the benefit that I have
Mm-hmm.
of being able to do that. Um,
Wow.
but it just sucks in the first place that we have to think that way, that we have to do that, right? Like that we can't go in and have the doctor listen to us tell what is going on with our body. They have no
Mhm.
freaking clue.
I
Like we're the
that
ones living in it and doing it. And if they can't at least respect that and listen, like really listen to hear and try to help fix it, then like what are we doing?
yeah. You
I'm
know,
not bashing doctors
yeah,
at
but
all.
no mean. I mean, they went to school, did the court.
Yeah.
I get it, but
Yeah.
they're human too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And
Well,
there's
I
no
say they're practicing medicine.
yeah.
Practicing
And
medicine.
there's no one pill to be
Yeah.
like, Jenée, okay, I know you're African American and I know
Yeah.
there's no one pill like they tend to go on a tangent about
Right.
like take this, it worked for this many people, so it's gonna work.
Right.
But I'm unique. I'm my own person. I have my own
Yeah.
body. What
Yep.
works for them might not work for me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep,
So
exactly. The doctor I have now, he's amazing. Anytime that so I still have to do blood work to check my levels and stuff like every 6 months.
for your
And yeah, so my thyroid is completely gone. I have to take thyroid medication every day for the rest of my life. And there's other parts of your body that do produce the thyroid hormones, but not as much as is needed. So I will have to take the thyroid medication to help me to feel good and be able to function, kind
Wow.
of thing. And so depending on my weight, if my weight goes up or down, which it tends to do based on my hormone levels and stuff, because so we're coming up on the 4-year anniversary. So it'll be 4 years of no
Oh.
cancer, but I still have all of the autoimmune issues of the Hashimoto's hypothyroidism, which was what came from the thyroid before the cancer part, if that makes sense. So we still have to monitor stuff, especially, and the doctor I have now is amazing. We go off of how I'm feeling. It's like, okay, in 6 months, I can call him and be like, okay, it's time for blood work. And he'll be, how are you feeling? Do you feel like we need to do blood work, or are you feeling good and you want to go another 6 months? Okay, we can do that. If we make any adjustments, I literally will go into his office and I will pull out my notepad on my phone and be like, okay, you ready for the questions? And he's like, okay, let's go. Let's do it. Like, he expects me to come in with my questions on, like, okay, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? Right? Like, my cholesterol was really high. So it's like, I want something to supplement what I'm doing with nutrition and stuff at home, but I can't take a GLP-1 because that has a side effect of possibly causing cancerous tumors,
Oh, wow.
like in your thyroid area. And I don't have a thyroid, so there's a nice big hole for cancerous tumors to try to grow into.
Oh,
So we don't
wow.
want to do that. Like, I do my research and ask my questions of him, and sometimes he'll be like, how did you know that? I forgot about that. I'm like, yeah, because I was reading the papers.
But I was looking out for
So,
myself.
yeah, I was reading all of the research and all of the things because I wanted to come and ask you an educated question, but
Yeah.
also be knowing enough about it to understand if the answer you give me is BS, or if we can have a discussion about it, kind of thing, you know?
That's
So
good.
he's amazing. There are really good doctors out there
Yeah,
still.
there are.
Sometimes it's hard to find them, but there are really good doctors out there still.
Yes. Look, I'm going to ask you even more, even off this podcast, some stuff.
We'll have to do it again.
Look, let me tell you. So my mom, she had hers removed so many years ago. My mom's 75 years young today. Thank you,
Oh,
Jesus.
happy
Still here
birthday.
with us. So she had hers removed and things like that many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that we're even talking about this, Jess, let me tell you, I got some amazing news about my speaking business and all that today.
Nice.
And then and it's like, I was like, the devil is a lie. Because not an hour after I got that exceptional news, right? That I am so pumped about still, I got some news about my thyroid today.
Did you?
I never can I I
Yeah.
cannot make this up. I am like, okay, what is really going on? The devil is a lie.
There's a reason for it. There's a reason for it.
About it being overactive,
Mm-hmm.
but my
Mm-hmm.
TSH level or something like that. And look, I'm probably putting myself out here, don't even know what I don't know, because I just heard today, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it said it was something about 0. Because I did blood work. That's where this came
Right.
from. A couple of days ago, I do my yearly blood work,
Right.
right?
Right.
And my TSH level is 0.18. I don't
Yeah.
even know what all this means.
Well, let
I just know.
me break it down for you and give you some info, because this will probably be why we were drawn to do this podcast together today. There's always a reason for it, kind of thing. Um, I mean, other reasons obviously as well.
Right.
But so your thyroid produces hormones. One is T3 and one is T4. T4, T3, T4, T4 free. Anyhow, these hormones combine and work together to create the hormone TSH.
Mm,
So if your TSH is off or not within normal range, that means that either the T3 or the T4, one of those is off.
okay.
Hyperthyroidism, which is where your thyroid is overreactive, is a lot of the same symptoms of like what I had. I'm not a doctor, I'm just sharing information
Right.
based on
And I
my experience, my
that 'cause
personal experience.
who knew?
So with hyper, you have a hard time gaining weight. with my case of hypo, I gain weight and can't get it off, kind of thing. So with hyper, you're going to find that you lose weight. You have a hard time maintaining a healthy weight. You're going to have night sweats. You're going to have your hair falling out in a little bit larger clumps than you're used to when you brush through your hair. You might notice like really severe, dry, chapped lips and cuticles on a regular basis. Like there's so much stuff. Basically, hyper is opposite of what I had, only in the fact of the weight part. But all of the other symptoms are still very similar. So here's what I would recommend that you do.
Yeah,
and to anybody else that's listening.
all I know, Jess, is overactive. And that's
Yeah.
as much as I got today. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
But,
Well, so I want you to look up a book. It's called Medical Medium.
okay.
And oh goodness. Let me go grab one of the books really quick. I will be right back because I want to get the author name on it, okay? So I'll hurry fast. I'll be right back.
Quick.
Please enjoy this picture of my plant while you wait.
If you guys are getting this, it's a book called Medical Medium. Okay, so audience, I cannot make this up that I literally got this information from my blood work that I just did 2 days ago. So, and then who knew that we are going to be talking to this amazing Jess going to be put into as things going on so I can be more aware. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So I wanted to go grab this book.
So we can get to the last question, but really quick.
I'll hurry fast. So Medical Medium. Okay. These books, it's by Anthony William.
And it helps with
No,
I mean the term that you mentioned could have something to do with that T3, T4, H. Yeah.
It has everything to do with your thyroid. Yeah, like that's all thyroid stuff. Okay. But Medical Medium, he has several different books, but he also wanted a specific to thyroid healing. And this was a lot of the protocols that he has in these books I used during those 3 years that I was shrinking my goiters before my surgery.
Wow.
So if you have any kind of thyroid issue, any kind of autoimmune issue, any kind of health issue that the doctors can't give you like a definitive answer as to what it is, what caused it, and how to heal it, check out his books. Anthony William. So when he was a young man, he discovered that he had the gift of spirit, and he was able to, he believed in God. And he has this gift of spirit where he was able to tell his aunt, hey, I think you need to go and have a breast exam done at your doctor's. Like there's something going on there. And she did, and she ended up having breast cancer. So he has this gift. It comes from God. He helps so many people figure out healing for themselves. And it got to a point where he couldn't help people one-on-one anymore. So he wrote these books. Wow. And he does them through these books. And a lot of people think, he's woo-woo, he's crazy, whatever. That's not their thing. That's totally fine. For me, I'm okay with a little bit of woo-woo, and the protocols helped me tremendously. Like I said, if I'd had more time, I probably would have been able to get the other goiter shrunk down, and then I might not have even needed surgery. I might have just needed like a dose of chemo or something, like who knows kind of deal. But I ran out of time. Wow. But I highly recommend his teachings in his books. So
thank you.
You can check them out on Audible. I believe it is Audible or Kindle before you order the hard copy if you want to just be able to look through them.
Well, I got both of those, so there you go. Thank you for that. Thank you.
No problem.
So the last gift number 5 is what we're at. So here's the question.
Okay.
What has this journey taught you about trusting your gut? Not just in health, but in business leadership and client work. Okay,
love that one. I think we've kind of covered all of that. I've gotten to a point where, so one part of my woo-woo nature is that I am very into my human design. If you're not familiar with what human design is, it's a couple of, I don't know how to explain the basics of it. It's like takes your astrology and numerology and your birth chart information and puts it all together, and it kind of gives you an idea of like what the personality of your spirit is like, kind of thing, which for me made a lot of sense when I read mine. So I lean into that very heavily. And for me, what that means is that I rely on my gut. If it is a yes for me, then I will immediately feel that. I will immediately have that excitement that like, yes, I want to participate in this. I want to do this. If there's any kind of hesitation or like, then I have learned that that usually means no. That means that it is not aligned for me. It is not for me, and that it's okay for me to pass on it, kind of thing. And then I lean heavily into things that bring me joy. So if it's not an immediate makes me happy in my heart and my soul, if it's not an immediate yes, I want to be a part of this, then I'm like, you know what, I'm sorry, I will cheer for you, but I'm going to pass on my participation, kind of thing. And I just kind of leave it at that.
Good for you.
And it makes it easy.
Yeah, that's totally relatable. You know, I always say, let me get this right. If I don't, um, not that I don't value the
Right.
person, right? But if I don't value their lifestyle of like where I'm trying to be and beyond and all of those things, or their morals, then I simply don't value their opinion in a nice way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. And it's kind of like giving advice, putting a business twist on it. I wouldn't go to someone who is 1 year in and has like maybe 50 followers. I would not go to them for advice on how to grow my business. Does
Yeah.
that make
So
sense?
yeah,
Like if they're not where I want to be
but
in my
yeah,
business, I wouldn't go to them for advice, kind of thing. That does not mean that I would not cheer them on or support them or help them or
I
support
mean,
them or whatever. But yeah, it's just being very particular about where I put my energy, kind of thing,
yeah.
right? Like I'm one of those people where I'm like, I personally, I don't care what your religion is or who you voted for
You are.
or what, like any of that stuff. If you're a good person
That is.
in your heart and you treat me with respect and you treat others around you with respect when I'm around you, then I have no problem with us having an interaction. But that also does not mean that I'm going to give like all of my full energy and attention to whatever it is that you have going on, unless it's in alignment
With you.
with me.
Right. Again,
So
it's me.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that's okay.
exactly.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, love that. Well, man, Jesse, that I am so grateful to have had Jess as our special guest
Thank you
today.
for having me.
Jess, is there anything that you'd like to share as to being my guest today? It could be about yourself. It could be a motivational word for entrepreneurs, 9 to 5ers, anything that you would like for people to remember or take with them or
Um,
to help out.
yes, for sure. I will say, okay, this is what I'm going to say. From a photographer, mother, woman, wife point of view, just do the damn pictures. You are not too fat. Your hair is not too crazy. Your skin is not too blotchy. Your outfit is not too old and out of style. You are perfect and amazing just the way you are in the here and the now today. And you have come so far in your life, in all of the trials and tribulations that you have been through and gotten to, where you are right here today, deserves to be documented. Whether it is pictures with me for your business, whether it is pictures you take for yourself on your own phone just to have in your photo album, in your memories, just take the pictures. Document your growth as a person, as a human in this existence, as a human in business, as a woman, as a mom. Stop hiding. You don't need to hide. You're amazing and perfect the way that you are. And I know that that's hard for a lot of people to really take in and accept, but like, just practice makes perfect on it. Just start taking pictures of yourself. Nobody else in the world has to see them. Document where you are here and now, because 10 years from now, heaven forbid something happened to you and you're gone, your loved ones are going to be able to access your photo album, and your children and your grandchildren and your great grandchildren are going to think those pictures that you took on a whim, just try to practice self-love and taking the picture. Those pictures to them are going to be priceless. So
So good.
stop hiding, take the picture.
Yes. Stop. Hey, big. Look,
Yep.
stop hiding. Get on video.
One step
I,
at a time.
I love it. Thank you so much for blessing my
Yeah.
platform, Jess.
Thank you
Again,
for
we
having
will
me.
be talking. Plenty to talk about afterwards. I love. Thank you so much for being on the platform. You can stay on. I'll be continuing to give my own gifts. I have 3 of them, or whatever you would like to do.
Okay. Well, let me, if I could add really quick, and then I'll pop off so that you can finish up your stuff. So we did talk about that I wanted to gift to your community. So, sorry.
Life.
So what I would like to do is I would like to offer 2 complimentary 15-minute check it out photo sessions. And what this is it's complimentary. There's no cost. I will offer 2 of those up. And it's just, if you need pictures and you want to see what a remote photo session is about, you can come and go through the whole process with me. You get 2 pictures that you pick at the end, fully edited, high resolution, ready to go for you to use. And I would love to offer that to your community.
Thank
We'll do 2 of those. And then if more people than that are interested and want something, want to do a remote photo session, check it out kind of thing, I have a couple of different model calls and links that I can send to you or post into the chat part so that they can access it from there.
Look, he's throwing pins. Yep. I was gonna say, how do they get to those free pictures and stuff like that?
For the 2 complimentary
Mhm.
ones, just DM me. It'll be first come first serve,
And where do
kind of.
they find you again to DM you?
Right here on Instagram under J Wilson Pics. I'm assuming that you are going to tag me
Yep.
as a collaborator when we post this, so you'll be able to find me from there, kind of thing. And you can just DM me the word, DM me the word 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah,
Got that on it?
yeah,
15 minutes of complimentary pictures. I know there's plenty of entrepreneurs out there who need
yeah.
this.
Yep.
That's
So thank
phenomenal.
you for having me, and I will pop down now.
Thank you for being on. I appreciate you.
No
Have
problem.
a blessed
Okay, bye.
Guys, which one do you guys think that's the right?
Love it. Wow, you guys, as it's turning to take her off. What an empowering conversation with Jess. Is there, man, that is just so phenomenal to have had her on here today for today's episode. It was like simply more than a conversation. It was like a wake-up call, big time, a holy nudge, a just a simply a soft reminder that your body is just not an afterthought at all. Not in your business, not in the plans that you have along your journey, just anywhere within your life, right? So instead, it's the sacred ground where your purpose begins, you guys. And wait a minute, because it seems like this is like still on and buffering. So let me see if I can do anything to remove that. She's not on, so I don't know what that's about. It's buffering. So my VA is on here. VA, if by chance you can tell me what I need to do to remove that so I can have the full picture back of myself, that would be great. This is a first that this has actually taken place, so I'm not sure. So yeah, Jess, she left and came. Oh, it went away now. That was different. That was weird. But anyways, let's keep going. I digress. All right. So again, it's pretty much just the sacred ground where your purpose begins. All right. So let's remember to follow and put to action, Jess's wise suggestions and the things that she's talked to us about. I am definitely going to be looking into that book. I can tell you that. But also, here are my three, short, giftful, and actionable tips for this topic, like I like to give. So, gift number one is simply to pivot without permission. Your diagnosis isn't a deadline. That's what I want you to understand, okay? So, Jess didn't wait for external validation to shift her brand model. Like, the diagnosis didn't like slow her up or anything. It sparked a redesign for the most part. All right. So she began offering like remote photoshops, connecting with clients in ways that didn't drain her physically. So that's very important. But it magnified her mission in the process, right? This takeaway reminds us that you don't need approval to pivot. Not at all. All right. You need alignment. So that's the priceless point of all of that. And obviously, I do like to give you some actionable tips of how to move forward with this particular point. So here's some things to help you. First, try tapping into the creative mornings, you guys. It's a global community and they host free virtual talks and workshops by like artists, entrepreneurs, and change makers who redefine success on their own terms. That is priceless all on its own, right? Also, while you're like reshaping your actual strategy, tune in to Jess Ekstrom's Business on the Bright Side. That's what it's called. It's an actual podcast, you guys. And go figure that I had the guest named Jess, and then now I'm telling you to check out a podcast from Jess Ekstrom's. That's his name. It's a podcast that pretty much features women who've taken pain and they've turned it into an actual platform, you guys. You'll feel seen, inspired, and invited to move boldly into what's next for yourself just by checking out that podcast, you guys. All right. Okay. So gift number two is your brand is bigger than your energy level. All right. And what do I mean by that? Well, today with my guest, Jess built her brand while honoring her body's needs. She kept going, right? After a while. So she focused on like work that felt light, life giving, which was very important, and less like labor, right? So it was all about her, which is very, very important, to consider obviously about yourself. And then when your actual energy is compromised with whatever's going on in your life, your journey, your 9 to 5 as an entrepreneur, you must become ruthless, you guys, about clarity and things that are going on with you. Okay. Very important. So the question isn't, can I do this? When whatever you're going through, that's not the question. It's, does this give me life? That's the question. Okay. That positive mindset, you guys, is what helped Jess protect her peace while still just producing excellence as a mother, a fire mother at that, okay? And just as herself, okay? So today I'm going to give you some actionable steps to help, with these things that I'm discussing now as well. So the first thing is to simply just map your energy rhythms using it's something called a chronotype quiz, you guys. It's very helpful. It's by Dr. Michael Bruce. All right. To simply just identify your peak productivity windows. That's what it helps you to do. Then you're going to want to rebuild, you guys, your workflow around your body's natural peace. Okay. Again, throughout your journey, this is going to be very helpful for you, especially with owning a business and being a speaker or whatever your venture is for you. Okay. Also, for like a soulful overlay, listen to, you guys, and I was listening to this the other day. Oh my goodness. Listen to India Ari's song. It's called I Am Light. Oh my goodness, you guys, that song is priceless, let me tell you. um do this before you actually do like strategy sessions for yourself though, okay? Because that song, it's a lyrical affirmation that you don't have to grind to be worthy. It is phenomenal, you guys. You just have to align with what ignites your spirit. So check out that song, listen to it, and you can thank me later. All right. Okay. Last but not least is gift number 3 from me. And that is that your story is your studio. So simply use your scars to build connection within your businesses, along in your 9 to 5, just simply along your journey as an entrepreneur. Okay. So Jess didn't just take headshots, you guys. She captured souls with what she does in her business, right? And why? Because she let her own story be seen, right? So that's very, very powerful. Her cancer journey became the lens through like which she connected to clients more deeply, even, right? So please hear me when I say this. Your story isn't just about the background of everything going on and in life and things. It's your actual brand. Take that and sit with that for just a minute. It's your actual brand, you guys. So for those of you who are even looking for your brand, you don't feel like you found it, that's what it is. It's your story, not just all about it, but it's who you are, right? So sharing doesn't like diminish your professionalism by sharing your story and things going on with you. It simply deepens your credibility and it helps with your healing along the way. Okay. So do yourself a service and just choose yourself and put it out there. It's all right. And you'll be helping other people. That is the godly thing to do. Let me tell you that. All right. Here are some actionable steps to assist you with this particular topic. So first, you'll want to possibly create a legacy sound garden. That's what we're calling it, okay? It's a personal, like voice-based audio archive is what it is. That it lives in like a private digital garden is what we'll call it. And you're going to design it by using a platform like Tana. It's TANA, or My Mind. That's what it's called, My Mind. Both beautiful natural tools, you guys, to help you out for just curating like those ideas and those memories, which you're going to need. Okay. It's a space, well, in this actual space, each audio recording, you guys, that you do with this becomes planted seed. How wonderful is that, right? It's a voice memo. It could be a poem or a declaration that you recorded on your phone during like those raw and reflective moments, you guys. And it's going to help you for later. You're going to need all that content, so it's going to help you out. You guys, it's phenomenal. Definitely look into this. But make sure that you like Label each seed, because that's what we're calling it, right? With a theme like healing or surrender or breakthrough or even like boldness. All right. Do that service for yourself. Also, what you're going to do is once a month, you're going to take one of those actual audio seeds that we're going to be planting for ourselves, and you're going to turn it into a platform by using Audio Pen AI. Let me say that again. It's actually audiopen.ai, okay? To transcribe and refine your actual raw voice into a narrative. You guys, this is going to help your businesses out and just your journeys out tremendously. Check it out, audiopen.ai, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to pair it with your own just imaginary or photography even. All right. If you're like Jess, you already had that special treasure because she's a photographer, right? But you're going to pair it with that, and you're going to build a short visual story for yourself using, it's an app called Unfold by Squarespace. Okay, check it out. It's going to help you with many things along your journey and in your businesses, which is a guided app to help you with storytelling used by creatives to share moments as art. You guys, how phenomenal is that? Check it out. All right. Well, that was the end of these giftful gems for myself for today's episode. Remember, though, your hustle does not define your worth. Not at all. All right. Your healing does. Okay. So, when God pauses your actual pace, because that's what I see it as, it's like being still, okay? It's not punishment. So don't see it as that. Just see it as the preparation. Makes you think, doesn't it? All right. Listen, I too know firsthand, you guys, what it's like to just have unwanted health matters, unfortunately, along my journey and throughout my 3 businesses, and just as a mom and just as a person overall. But look, what simply matters is to take a moment, show yourself some grace along the way. I show myself a lot of grace. Let me tell you, I need that. So don't feel bad, you guys, not at all, about like if you don't rush back to the grind. Don't feel bad about those things. Simply just rise slowly and rise intentionally. Okay? Because again, like we said earlier, you can't help anybody else. You can't service anybody else within your journeys, your business, or even for yourself if you don't take care of yourself. All right? Throughout your journeys. It's very, very important to do that. All right. So just simply rise in truth. That's the bottom line. Okay. Because healed hustles, you guys, make a very holy impact. And who doesn't want that? And you are worthy of that. All right. Okay. Well, as always, you guys, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Faith Forward Fearlessly podcast with me, Jenée Hudson, the Uplifter. I appreciate you to the fullest for joining me. I really do appreciate you. And oh my God, it was number 75, you guys. Woo! So happy about that. It'll be 80 soon. All right. You guys, please, please continue to follow and also share with ongoing content, okay? Inspiring content at that. And again, please subscribe to my podcast channel, you guys, the Faith Forward Fearlessly podcast, which you're listening and watching right now by Jenée Hudson, and like it. The information will be in the caption below as to how you can get to it on YouTube. Share it and just become blessed with it, you guys, and share it for other blessings. All right. Until then, keep the faith, you guys. Until next time, have a very blessed day and a very, very prosperous journey on purpose. Later.